This is the Infinix Smart 8, and in this video I'll be sharing my experience after using it as my secondary device for a little bit over 3 months now, and whether or not you should actually even consider it if you're looking for a phone around 100,000 naira. If you are new here, I'm David. Welcome to the channel. The design of this device is pretty common for its price point, but that doesn't mean it's bad. I'm guessing the fact that the camera layout looks like an iPhone is a plus for some people looking to get it. The size is great. It sits at about 6.6 inches, which makes for a large enough display to view content. It's an IPS LCD display with 500 nits peak brightness and a 90Hz refresh rate, which is quite smooth, and I think makes up for it being an LCD panel. The few times I used this device to view content, it wasn't a bad experience as I already kept my expectations in check. But that wasn't the case for the audio, because I feel like even for this price point, the audio can be better. I found it very tiny and bassless, but it's loud, and when you increase the volume to the max, it sounds better. And I don't think anyone planning on getting this device will notice. To be honest, I only did because I've used a lot of more expensive devices, and even some at the same price point with better audio. This phone comes out of the box with the Infinix XOS launcher on Android 13. So far, I've had only one bug, and that's when I try opening WhatsApp and the fingerprint sensor just doesn't respond. But turning the screen off fixes that, so it's not a big deal. Other than that, it's been very reliable and quite snappy. Speaking of software, it has this dynamic island looking feature that Infinix calls Magic Ring. But unlike the dynamic island, this only comes up when you plug it in, receive a call, and on some other few occasions. It's a pretty cool feature, but it doesn't come turned on out of the box. You have to go manually turn it on in the settings. Now let's talk about my experience with the 5000 mAh battery. It has been great. It easily takes me through a day of use when fully charged. I sometimes use this for up to 2 days without charging, which is really great, although it's important to note that this is not my main device and I only use it for about 30 minutes or 1 hour per time, and I use it a few times a day. So if this is going to be your main device, your experience will definitely be different. I usually plug it in at night right before bed, and I've not really had any issues with it dying on me during the day, like ever. That's actually very good. This device does not have any form of fast charging, so it takes about 2 hours for a full charge, which is not great, even for a device at this price point. But for my use case, I had no issues with it whatsoever. However, there's one thing I have an issue with, which is the Unisoc T606 processor Infinix put in the Smart 8. Although it does well for most day-to-day use, the moment you start to stress this device a little bit, you start to see its weaknesses. But I feel that's okay because I don't think anybody considering this device is even a gamer. But if you are, just make sure to check out some other options because this is by no means a gaming phone. Now enough about the processor, let's talk about the camera performance of this device. So it has a very basic click camera setup at the back, with the main lens being a 13 megapixel lens. That's apparently the only working lens out of the 2 camera lenses on the back. So far I haven't found any option in the camera that uses the so-called AI camera, so it's probably just for aesthetics. The photos and videos from that 13 megapixel lens on the back are quite okay in adequate lighting. Of course, videos are only 1080p. I don't know what you're expecting. I'm actually surprised there are no worse for the price of this phone. Well, that said, here are some sample photos and videos for you to check out. Now there's one thing about the cameras on this device that I absolutely dislike, and that's the design. Although it makes the phone look really nice, the size makes it prone to scratches. I don't even drop this phone anywhere other than my bed or my desk since I don't use it that much, and look how scratched the lenses are. Although it's not all bad because the size makes it able to accommodate this massive ring light looking flash, which is really bright. Anytime NEPA decides to show a shege, it comes in handy. Now let's talk about the price and whether or not you actually get enough value for what you are paying. If you are still planning on buying this device, I would say just get a used one that's in great condition. A new one of the 64GB of ROM and 4GB of RAM version I have here is going for about 150,000 naira, which is absurd, given that the newly released Mark 9 costs just under 140,000 naira. But I did a quick search and saw some great deals, like one that looks like it's in very good condition for just 85,000 naira, which in my opinion is the sweet spot. Now I'm not saying go and buy a used device from just anyone, do your due diligence. The price difference between the new and used versions of this device makes buying a new one just a waste of money in my opinion. It's about a 50,000 naira price difference, which is enough to get something like the Oraimo Space Buds if you cannot manage the audio quality on this device, or just get the Smart 9 instead at that point. Now if you're interested in the Space Buds I just mentioned, feel free to check out my review of them in the cards above after watching this video of course. I feel the best way to summarize the Smart 8 is jack of all trades. This device is not trying to be the best at anything, it's just trying to be usable and give you all the features you would want from a smartphone. I feel this device is meant for someone who just uses their smartphone for calls, scrolling through social media, watching movies, or even someone like me who uses it as their secondary device. Not for people who use their smartphones for heavy tasks and take many photos and videos. Well, that's it from me, and I hope I helped in your decision making process. If I did, consider dropping a like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell icon to get notified when I post a new video like this. And that's it from me. Peace.
I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement.